Witch Mcfay, number 2, Halloween 2020. 18-year-old Mildred lived alone. She had no family living. Her only companion was her little old Yorkshire Terrier, Sam. He would sleep beside her bed most nights, possibly sometimes. Except when it was cold, he would sleep in front of the still warm embers in the fireplace in the front room. On Halloween evening, she was reading the local newspaper in bed, which told of an escaped mental patient from the nearby asylum who was suspected of murdering women who lived alone by killing them and licking their blood. Mildred shivered and put her hand down to caress her dog Sam. He licked her hand and she felt reassured. On turning on her other side, she could see through her open bedroom door into the front room Sam, lying in front of the fireplace. Her screams, neighbours said, were terrible to hear. Postscript to this story: the little terrier was found safe and well. Two men were walking home after a Halloween party and decided to take a shortcut through the cemetery. They heard a tapping sound coming from the shadows. Now trembling with fear, they found an old man with a hammer and chisel chipping away at one of the headstones. "Holy cow, mister," one of them said, after catching his breath. "You scared us half to death. We thought you were a ghost. What are you doing working here so late at night?" The old man looked up and grumbled, "Those fools! They misspelled my name." That's scary. One night, a woman was walking by the beach when she suddenly saw a man sitting close to the water. He kept saying, "7, 7, 7. She approached him and asked, "Why do you keep on saying 777? "Come closer," he said, "and I will tell you." The woman, being extremely silly and curious, went closer to the man. Then, just when she was standing right in front of him, he jumped up and stabbed her to death, then sat down again and said, 8, 8, 8. Oh dear, 7 was my lucky number. Not anymore. There was a young boy who loved to read books. He read everything he could get his hands on. Then one day he realised he had read everything in his local bookshop. He asked the owner if he had anything else. The owner replied gravely, yes, I do." He reached behind the counter and pulled out a book. Dusting off the cover, he showed it to the boy and told him it was the Book of Death. The owner said it was extremely rare and was worth £2,000. But as it was his last book, he would let him have it for £200. The boy scrimped and scraped and saved for weeks, never spending his pocket money, doing what odd jobs he could for payment. At last he had £200. He ran to the bookstore and handed over the money. The owner, on taking the money, spoke to him in a doom-laden voice, saying, "Never at your peril, read the first page." The boy went home and opened the book, making sure to close his eyes as he skipped over the first page. Soon after he finished reading the book, his childish curiosity got the better of him. He got the book down from the shelf and flipped over to the first page. To his horror, he read, "On sale, £1.99. Oh, the poor little soul. Actually, what a mug. This is the story of Mary. When she was 16, Mary went to stay at her friend Sally's house for Halloween. After the party, it was time to go to bed, as it was nearly midnight. Sally had told Mary she could sleep in her brother Bob's room, as he had gone to London to work. "Don't forget," said Sally, Look in the mirror at midnight and you will see the face of the man you will marry. Mary was not convinced of this, but thought, I will play along, but I will make up some bizarre tale to tell Sally. With that happy thought, she stood in front of the mirror, only just in time, as the clock began to chime the midnight hour. Shock and horror! She could see a man's face, a handsome face. Can this be true? She thought. I don't believe in this stuff, and shrugged her shoulders. There must be some explanation, she told herself. Then, on turning round to go towards the bed, she saw the very same face in a painting hanging on the wall above the bed. Oh, silly me, she thought. It was a reflection of the painting in the mirror. But he's so handsome. I wish it could come true. 8 years later, Mary, who is now in London and travelling on the underground to her new job, glances at the people around her and at the man sitting opposite. My God, she said out loud, looking at the man opposite. You're the man in the mirror. Needless to say, he was dumbfounded as she told him the story. Then he laughingly replied, that portrait is of me. Would you care to have lunch? That was the start of their beautiful relationship, which is still going strong. And this all happened 40 years ago. Now that is a Halloween love story. Thank you for listening.